You write about how he doesn't like politics, how he doesn't consider himself a politician. The man's the governor. How does that work?
Well, I think everybody I talked to said it doesn't work. And that's what they find, and this is universally in the interviews, whether they like the things he did or don't like the things he did. There is a theme that only Paul LePage feels the opposite is true, or maybe a couple of close friends. Their theme is, hey, if they like him, he got a lot of great things done, but he could have got more great things done if he had been a better politician. Now, the people who don't like him think he got very little done, and he's not a good politician. And they don't feel he's a good politician because you need to get things done, especially when the legislature's the party, by cooperating, sometimes pushing hard, sometimes pushing easy, making friends here, playing the game over there, none of which interests him. He doesn't like playing the game. He thinks the game is silly. It's the nicey-nice club, as he said. He doesn't want to be nicey-nice. In fact, he believes that if he wasn't the way he was, sort of a bull, sort of a demanding boss, he never would have got anything done. That's his attitude. Yet other people feel differently. So he believes that was the only way to get things done, and the things he got done were because of his approach. But I have to say that very few people agree with that.
He also talks about being the chief executive of the state of Maine, bringing a business mindset to Maine. Has he really done that?
Well, he has done it in the sense that he came in and he looked at the financial management of the state. He's a turnaround expert. That was his early training as an MBA. So when he came in, he saw the balance sheet was out of whack with debt and expenses and what was coming in. And he saw that Maine was living higher than it should based on the sort of income we have in the state. So in that sense, he took a real businessman's approach. But when I spoke to Elliott Cutler, who was his opponent in the last election, is in this election too, and has worked with a lot of businesses, his comment was he's worked with a lot of business people and they don't take things this confrontational all the time, that they know how to manipulate the system to get what they want. So in that sense, some business people would say he's not been businesslike.
Some of the people that you quote in your story are quite surprising in their evaluation of LePage. You've got Emily Kane saying he was good to work with. You've got the woman who directs the Maine Coalition to End Domestic Violence saying she's never experienced him being a bully. Did you find more of that as you spoke to people?
Yeah, the people who have worked with him who don't have a strong partisan view say this about him. If you give him material, he reads it. He reads all of it. When you go and meet with him, he knows what's in that material. And this is not like they've been experienced with a lot of other chief executives. He asks a lot of questions. And then when the conversation's done, he makes up his mind. And when he makes up his mind, he's pretty much going to stick to it. So that is sort of his MO with working with people most of the time. And I spent many hours with him on these interviews, and in times I just, particularly in the car, I just sat back and saw what happened. I saw very little of that sort of bully thing that people talk a lot about, which of course people have seen on his commentary on television and elsewhere. But in hours spent with him, I did see him get firm a few times about things, especially when he said he hates to compromise his principles. He might slam his hand on the table strongly, but it wasn't. I never felt threatened in my time with him. He's very self-deprecating. He laughs a lot about himself.
How much of that is because you're a reporter and he was on his best behavior?
Well, you never know. That's the reporter's around and he's thinking about that. But as he said, he's not very political, so he's not very good at affecting something. He is who he is, and I don't think if he's trying to put on a good face, it doesn't last very long. He reverts to the real Paul LePage pretty quickly, in my assessment.
So if you go around Maine, it really seems like everybody has an opinion about Paul LePage. You're a reporter. Do you have an opinion about Paul LePage?
Well, I'm a reporter, so when I have opinions, I keep them to myself. If I think there's enough material in the story from a wide range of people with a lot of information attached to it, data sort of stuff, that I think people can make up their own mind, and that's what we're happy to have them do, that they've got enough information from our kind of reporting that they can decide for themselves.
He talks about people condescending to him. What happened in that part of your conversation with him?
Well, we were talking about the famous Vaseline quote, and that was his explanation with that was that when the legislator said that something along the lines that the governor doesn't care about the people of Maine, that this tax program is bad for them, he took those sort of comments very personally. That he didn't care for the people of Maine, and the attitude, he felt it was a condescending attitude towards him, and so he gets his back up on that. It's not very hard to get his back up on things, I think. He doesn't like, I think his friends and me told me, he doesn't like to have his will thwarted, and when it does, he doesn't get what he wants, he strikes out.
So really, if you wanted to, if you were to talk to someone from outside the state who didn't know what's been going on with Maine's governor for the last few years, after writing this piece, give us the whole Paul LePage. Who is this man?
Well, he's a man who came in with the idea that being governor was primarily about financial management. A man who came in with the idea that the state is too generous to some people, whether it's welfare or medical care. He is a kind of combination libertarian and political conservative who thinks and believes that with enough will on his part and with enough ideas on his part of the fiscal nature, he can fix the state of Maine and leave it in better financial shape than when he came.
All right, thank you very much.